Hey, I hope this video turns out just how we need it to. Hi, I'm Liz. It's nice to meet you. Today I'm going to show you how to make little circle earrings. The ones in the picture that you shared with me looked like they were a little organic shape, a little irregular. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So I'm going to move my camera down, and maybe you can, if we need it, I will make a instruction sheet. So we'll just get started. Okay. Okay, so this is a piece of canvas. I'm going to get my clay. You roll the bag down. You can use your wire cutters to cut a piece of clay. Set it to the side. Wrap this back up. Okay, so now I'm going to start pounding this out into a slab. Be careful to avoid the edges because the edges will thin out quicker than the center. So focus on the center, kind of pushing out. And then you can pick this up, flip it over, and do the other side. Okay, and then you're going to come in with the rolling pin. The rolling pin won't thin it out very much, so you need to do most of your thinning out with your pounding. Okay, so we want these probably 1/4 inch thick. So if you cut a little edge, hold it up. That looks pretty good to me. Maybe I'll measure. Okay, so that is 1/4 inch thick. Perfect. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is use the metal rib, and we're just going to clean up our surface. Now I use the metal rib with the rounded side. See, I'm pushing down it's at about a 45-degree angle with the clay. If you try to come up like this, you start to create little spots in the clay. So I like to almost lay this flat. And then flip it over. And do the same thing. Okay, so now we've got our slab all prepped. So now we're going to cut our earring shapes. So what I like to do is find something small and circle. So actually, this tool that came in your kit should be the perfect thing to make your circle shape. Okay, so let's just see here. So that is almost perfect. I'm going to see what that looks like after I cut it out. So, you know, I think a 1/4 inch thick might be a little much. You know what might be good? So once we've got this little piece, and then you start to thin the edges. And I'm just going to kind of thin out the whole thing. Now that I see it, a 1/4 inch might be a little thick for these earrings. I'm looking at this photo. So this is what I'm basing this off of, these round earrings. And if you need to get it, if you need to clean up the edges, you can kind of roll it like this. Okay, so that cleaned up my edges. You don't want these edges to be super sharp because once they're glazed, they're going to come out sharp, and we don't want that. So it's up to you how thick or thin you want it. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so there's my little size. I'm going to make another one to match. Cut that out. Okay, and again, I'm just going to start pinching. Okay, I'm going to roll it here to avoid my sharp edges. Maybe you can see it here. I'm just kind of rolling it up on its edge. Now you can start to look at them, make sure they're the same size. I think this one needs to thin out a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to do the holes. So I'm going to use the needle tool. All the way through. Wiggle it back and forth a little. Go in and out. And there's your hole. And so you've got some extra clay bits here. You can just peel it off, work it back into the earring. Maybe clean it up again. Okay. Same thing here. I'm actually going to lay this on top so I can make sure my holes are the same distance in the same spot. Okay. Clean this one up. Smooth out any cracks. Okay. So there are our earrings. So I'm going to move this over. So to get that design she had, we're going to use an underglaze. Okay, let's see if I can get up closer. Maybe you can see what I'm doing a little better this way. Okay, shake it up. So I'm using Mako Fundamentals Underglaze. Underglaze. I'm using white. So in the photo, this half is not as thick as the top. So what we're going to do is do one layer for the thin part. I'm just going to come up, little swipe. I'm just going to do one layer. Okay, and now for the top. Actually, we'll do, just paint the whole thing once. Let that dry. Okay, and next we're gonna make these little marks. Once this dries, while that's drying, you could probably be making more. So I'm gonna let that dry, and you know, now maybe I'll make earrings this size. So while that's drying, I can start another set. And when you're cutting, make sure you're using a knife. You don't want to use a needle tool to cut. Okay, so again, I'm just going to start thinning this out with my fingers. This might be a heavy earring. This is pretty big. Okay, same thing here. You can even come back in with your rolling pin. Okay, I'm just gonna stack these and make my hole. Smooth out that little extra. Smooth this out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a layer of underglaze on the new big ones. Just gonna paint the whole thing first. And paint the other one. I filled my hole with glaze, so I'm just gonna do another one. Okay, I'm gonna do another layer on the first ones we did. I'm just gonna drag my brush straight across. And again, straight across. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and do that on these. Okay, to do the little marks, let's see. Okay, so you should let this stiffen up until all the underglaze is dry. It's almost dry, so I'm going to see if we can start making some marks here. So I'm using the square edge. I'm going to use the very corner. Okay. Next. I'm digging into the clay just a little. And once this thicker layer dries, I'm going to go ahead and do a third layer. I don't know what's going on over here with these. Okay, so that's pretty much it. You don't want glaze to fill that hole, obviously. And you can try using different things to make your marks. Like, for instance, the back of my needle tool might make some different looking marks. Okay. So I'm doing 3 coats on the top and 1 coat on the bottom. And you should wait with each layer to dry before you do the next one. All right. So there is our earrings. This would look really good with brown clay with the white on top. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our earring lesson. So let me know if you have any questions, and good luck. Thanks.